Happy Christmas in July! I'm going to show you how to take a couple of items from the dollar store to make a cute baking themed ornament. This project's part of Gingerbread in July, so check out the video description for links to all of our amazing hosts and their projects. This is from Dollar Tree. You know, it's obviously meant for painting, but when you paint it silver, it looks like a cute little muffin tin. I'm going to distress it just a little bit because it looks too new this way. So with a little black metallic paint, distress the edges and make it look just a little bit more used. Now for the teeny tiny cookies, I wanted to create a royal icing kind of finish. So I am using Murano glass paints from Plaid Crafts. It has this really nice fine tip for little details. So I'm just using some, I think they're 1-inch wood rounds. And in this one, I am filling in half of it with the white glass paint, and then I'm putting some blue glass paint on the top. And it really is kind of like icing a cookie, the way you kind of flood the area and fill it in. For the detailing, I've found it's actually a lot easier if you use a detail paintbrush. So again, this is the Murano glass paint in black, but to get those tiny little dot details and the little bitty coals that make up the snowman cookie's mouth, I'm using a detail brush to fill all of that in. For the cute little carrot nose, I'm again using the Murano glass paint. You see it there, and the detail brush so I can add in the cute little carrot nose for my snowman sugar cookie. While the glass paint is still wet, I can add in some little details. I'm using, I think that might be a crochet hook that I grabbed, but you just want a pointy tool. You could use a toothpick. I'm sloping down the tops of his cap there, and then I'm going to take some more of that white glass paint just to add some little ribbing details to his beanie. So work that in there and then just pull it through the wet paint to create, some cute little details, and then a little shading on the top. Maybe it's a tiny little pom-pom, or it could just be more snow falling on his head, and then set that aside to dry while I make more, you can't see my air quote cookies. For these, I was inspired by pinwheel cookies. So I am using first the red glass paint to make a swirl on these wood rounds. And I picked some Christmassy colors, red and then like a bluish green, so that they're bright and vibrant. And then I'm going to grab some white glass paint and fill in the rest of my pinwheel cookie. Or we can pretend that we're icing them, right? Icing them to look like pinwheel cookies. And then when it dries, I think it does look a bit like a semi-glossy icing. It's just a fun little detail to add some color and imagination to this easy-to-make Christmas ornament. All right, this is a gingerbread collaboration, so here are the little gingerbread men. These are some cute little wood cutouts, also from Dollar Tree. I bought them last year and they've just been in my stash. I am using a terracotta paint because I don't know if you've ever tried to mix paint to make a gingerbread color. It's harder than you think. At least for me it is. So I found that this paint color is really perfect. Plus it has a teeny bit of texture to it, and then it dries with a non-glossy finish, so it looks like a cookie. After I paint it, I am using a sponge to blot it to create a gingerbread-like texture. So again, once this paint dries, it's going to look more matte, and then with the sponge, I'm creating the gingerbread cookie texture. And here's that Murano glass paint again. I said I'm using it like royal icing, right? So like I did before with my cookies, I am using the detail brush so I can dot on the faux icing eyes and the little mouth and all the little buttons and the cute little details that will bring these gingerbread faux cookies to life. So continuing with the baking theme of this ornament, I want to make a cute little whisk to add to it. I have this little tool that's used for making wire crafts. I'm sure you could find something similar, or you could even just use your fingers or put 2 nails in a board, use 2 pencils. All I'm doing is wrapping some wire around my ends to create 4 loops. Honestly, I wanted to create 5 loops, but apparently I can't count, so I did 4, and in the end, it worked out anyways. You can see I've left some edges out there, and that's what I'm going to use to create the base and to wrap up the bottom of my teeny tiny whisk. So I'm taking one end, wrap it around several times. Now I'm going to take that other loose end and wrap it around a couple more times to hold it together. And then see the top, it's already kind of looking like a whisk. What you're going to want to do is separate the ends and then twist them and bend them so that one is the center, one goes over the top. You just kind of want them to crisscross like that. And voila, teeny whisk. And once I have decided where to place everything, I'm going to use a bunch of hot glue to fill in the base of the trays and then glue those cookies on top. And again, a little bit of hot glue to hold the whisk in place. To hang this all up, I've got 2 ribbons and a bell. I have strung a little jingle bell onto one of the ribbons, and then I'm going to tie up that tool-like ribbon there, and then trim the ends so it looks like a bow and fluff it out. And then I'm going to use that silk ribbon as kind of the holder. So flatten those ribbons out, put some hot glue on top, and then press my cookie tray onto it so that the ribbon will attach to the back of the tray and help it hang up on my tree later. And here are all the elements put together. My little faux cookies on my faux baking sheet with my teeny tiny whisk. This was really fun to just play around with all the products and make. And I like how happy and colorful looking it is. Now it's got me excited about Christmas. I can't wait to put my tree up so I can hang this up. I hope you enjoyed this project. Thank you so much for watching. Ciao amici.